This SR20 has came in for correction to the main line, but some previous bad machining by another company recently has meant it needs a whole lot more. So keep watching this video to find out how we've repaired it. So another job that's come in for us to do this week is this SR20 DET for a garage that specialises in building these, and we do a fair bit of machining for them, but from what we understand is the customers had this machined elsewhere and it's coming to us because they fitted ARP main stud conversion, and when they tighten it up it locks the crank up. So we've got to just lino the main housing for our customer. But as I've turned it over, I've noticed that the machining that's been done somewhere else isn't very good. I'll show you what it is. I mean, for a start, it's been left quite dirty, but I don't know if the GoPro's picking it up, but there's quite a lot of honing chatter here. And then here, where they've, I don't know if their milling machines bounced or something, but you can actually feel a step all the way on that arc there, and it is actually quite bad. These use a multi-layer steel gasket, so I think that will blow quite quick. It's not very good at all, that. And then also I think where their machine probably is not big enough to do one complete pass, it's been machined different here. You can see a perfect line, and then there's an arc here as well where it looks like it might have picked something up by the milling cutter. The bores are also tapered. The finish is shocking. There's no cross hatching at the bottom of the bore, there's only cross hatching at the top of the bore, and they haven't deburred it. So I don't know who's done that machining, but it's far from good. It's shocking in all fairness. So I've just got my customer here, the guy building the engine. I've showed him that the bores are already sort of 8/10 over the recommended piston to bore clearance. So I think I'm going to need 3/10 to half a thou to get it back good. But I think my customer wants me to, well, he does want me to go ahead and do that. But I just thought I would show that, and I will show the end result once it's finished. So my first job is I've cleaned up the crank caps and the cradle, so I'm going to bolt all that back together now, take some measurements, and get it line honed. Not great though. Okay, right. So this Nissan that's come in for line honing, I've set it up. I've set my bore gauge up to the setting that my customer's given me, and then straight away with the first one that I come to, it's 2.5 thou tight on the rear cap on a on this axis, so straight up parallel with the bore, and then it's 1.5 thou, whatever degrees that would be, I guess probably about 70, and it's bang on size on this axis here. Next one in, 3 thou tight, 3 thou tight, that one there is 5.5 thou tight, so what I've got to try and do with this is machine line on the main line, but I don't really want to take much off this direction. I want it to take it all off this direction. But the problem with this is the caps are cast iron and the block is aluminium. So there's no real easy way of machining one of these. And that's 3 thou. Just check on that axis. 1.5 thou on that. So what I'm going to do with that is actually mark also on the block where it needs it, because what I might find I'll have to do, so that's 0055, what I might have to do with it is, as it starts to come down in size, play around with the caps so it doesn't take as much out. But yeah, no wonder it locked the engine up. 3,000. So what I am going to do is just double check in one of my bearing bucks that the size that it's giving me is right. I don't doubt it's, but I'd rather just double check than just rely on the text. Brilliant. That pen's dead. Okay, cool. Right, that's it. So I'm going to get, was that the right way around? I'm going to get the bearing buck out now and just double check my sizes. So I've now line honed this block and it all turns really nice, but unfortunately the torque wrench setting for these ARPs is 80 foot-pound, and this one here has pulled the threads out of the block. So I've let my customer know. It's a bit of a nightmare, to be honest, because what I'm going to have to do now is repair the thread, torque it all back up, and then check this rear main cap. I mean, it should be fine, but I've got to check it. Hopefully it won't need adjusting, but there we go. That's part of it, I guess. So I've sorted out the main line on this SR20 DET. So what I'm doing now is I'm going to correct the bore. The finish isn't great. There's chatter in there and it's tapered. So what I'm going to do is try and correct it with some of the smooth stones. I don't want to take much meat out of this bore because it's already a little bit big. So this is really just trying to correct where it's out. So I'm going to set the stops on the machine by screwing this in. I don't want to go too far and take the bottom off the stones. Switch the honing oil on. So there's no load on that at the moment. And I can actually feel the taper in the bore as I'm honing down. I'll try and get to the side so you can see it a bit better. Hopefully that's picking it up. And what I'm trying to do also is get the right crosshatch finish in there, because the crosshatch wasn't very steep in there. I mean, I don't know who's machined this for my customer, but it really is a bad job. Hate to say it. Well, that one's really bad at the bottom. I can really feel that. Yeah, so that's that finish is a lot better what we've got now. So I'm going to have a measure up with this. I'm going to give it a skim, get rid of the burr at the top of the bore, and then get it through the cleaner, because it's as you can see, it's still got all this old oil from when it was running in there, so they've not even cleaned it before they was getting ready to build it. But we'll put it right for them anyway. We'll get it good again. I've now sorted out the bores on this, so the next thing for me to do on that is to sort out this horrendous block finish and put a nice chamfer on it. So I'm just finishing off the last couple of bits on the SR20 DET engine, and I've got to basically now bolt this oil pump on because it covers the timing chain and it has to be refaced to give the block a skim to get the deck finish better. But what I've noticed is they've machined it before, whoever's done this machining, and they've not taken the oil pump apart, skimmed it, and all the swarf has gone in the pump. So I'm going to have to let my customer know that this needs to come apart and be washed. Once again, this is just, I don't know, the more I'm finding on this engine, I don't know where it was machined, but they need a few tips on machining by the looks of it, because this is just shocking. The other thing that I've just checked, which I'm also very disappointed with, is the piston rings. I mean, we spend a lot of time to make sure we square off the ring and we don't go too mad where it blues the ring, but don't know if it's going to pick it up. I'll turn the camera around. Maybe if I put something white behind it, it might help. I don't think the camera's picking it up. I might try and get some with another camera, but you can see the ring's gone blue here, but also it's kind of square at the bottom, and then as it gets 3/4 to the outer part of the ring, they've ground it that way. So when you pinch the ring together and put it in the ball, the gap on the very end is completely different. It's got a massive gap there, so it's really, really not good. So I've just taken a 3 thou cut off this block, and as you can see, my cutter's left a mirror finish, and it's cut the pump around to there and then stopped. There's still a slight step there where they've machined too much off this. It's all low and quite a mess. You can see a bad surface finish all the way along here, but the really scary bit is there. Someone's let that go, and a 3 thou cut still hasn't cleaned that up. So I'm going to send it back that way, take another 3 thou off it, and hopefully we'll get it back. So that's all refaced. The finish is a lot better. There's no step there now. So I'm going to put this in the, I'm going to take the oil pump off, put the block in the cleaner, and then we're going to assemble the bottom, put the crank in for him as well, because we've put the helicoil coil in the back and I just want to make sure it all torques up. So we're going to clean it all properly and start to build it for him. So the Nissan is back together, all torqued up and all cleaned, and now it turns really nice. So the last thing that I've got to do to this now is to see if I can recover the piston rings that someone's had a go at and made a mess of, which I showed you earlier. So I'm going to keep them numbered. I'm going to work out what the gap should be, and I'm going to drop the rings in and just see if I can get them back and maybe run a slightly wider gap. But I'm not hopeful, to be honest, but we'll have a look. So I'm going to start with cylinder number 1. This is the second ring. I'll make sure it's nice and square in the bore. I'll go and get some feeler gauges and then we'll have a measure up. So this is the first ring that I'm checking, the second ring of cylinder number 2. The clearance for this should be 25 thou. And let's see where it's at. So we might as well go straight to 25 thou because it looks like someone's had a go at gapping these. Well, that's 26, 27, it's 27 thou, that one. It's not been deburred very well. The grinding is pretty shocking on it. So I'm going to write on there, second 27. Check the top. So the top ring it's been ground very, very, very bad. It's not square. It's not even ground the same. Let's see if it's too big. This one should be 25 thou. No, sorry, 24 thou. So this is a thou tighter than the second ring. So straight to 24. Falls in. 25. 26. 27. 28, 29, 30 thou. So straight away the top ring is bigger than the second ring, which that in itself can cause problems, because where the gap is, I mean the gap is bloody massive, but where the gap is so big, what can happen is you can get the combustion pressure to go down the gap and get caught between the two rings in that land, because the second ring isn't big enough to deal with that, and it can cause gas pressure in there and you can have damaged rings. The piston ring land can crack because of that. You can get the ring to come off the seat because of it. There's a lot of things really. Normally the second ring is always a little bit bigger than the top ring to deal with that. It hasn't got any, I don't think, I'll double check, hasn't got any kind of oh, it has got a, okay. Well, that might be a bit more useful. The second ring land is machined to deal with that a little bit anyway. It's not just a flat ring there, a flat piece of land there, so that's quite good. I'm going to ring my customer up and tell him what we found. So that's all done. The engine turns nice. I can't do anything with the rings because I can't put metal back on them. So I'm going to ring him and let him know that it's done. The last job that I've got to do is a job that come in today. It's another job what's been done wrong by someone else. It's for TWR, for the new TWR Jag that's just being released. Another company's ground the crankshaft and the big end pin is actually tapered. So I've got to try and polish the big side of it down. So I'm going to go and take some measurements of that and see if I can rectify that for them. So I'll show you that job as well. So this is the Jaguar crank, which is actually, it's been installed in the engine by the looks of it. And my customer has marked up 3 of the journals, this one, and this one. And when you measure it, there is so from there to there is 1 thou of taper. It's bigger here and then it tapers down here. There's also a line in the crank from the grinder, I would say. It's not good. Just seems to be at the minute that we're trying to fix other people's mistakes really. Shouldn't have got this wrong. They've paid to get a crank ground and it's not been ground very good at all. I mean, even in that radius there's a lot of chatter there. I mean, with these Prince crank grinders you can't sometimes help but get a little bit in there, but you change the settings on the machine to try and get rid of the chatter. But the other thing that I've noticed is the finish. In fact, it looks like it's been on a balancer or something, because this mark here looks like the marks on hard wheels. I'm not 100% sure of that, but you can hear the finish. And on this one here, not only can you hear it, you can see the ground finish. It just, yeah, it's not very good at all. So I'm going to have a measure up of all these journals, and then I'm going to put a coarser crankshaft polishing belt on the crankshaft polisher, because what I tend to do with the belts is is use them so they lose their abrasiveness, so they're not so fierce. But I'm hoping a new belt, if I put it on and just try and work on this part here, I'm only going to try one. It might need a regrind to the next undersize to make it right, but I'm going to try one. These are going in really expensive cars, and the guys that are building the engines, they want these right, so we've got to make sure they are right. But yeah, we'll have a go. So I've tidied up the rear. I've got this better, but it's still got taper in it. I've quickly just run over that. But the other thing I've noticed is this had masking insulating tape on it. And when I've taken the insulating tape off it, you can actually pick up flat spots in the finish. It's got like tiny bits of judder and flat spots in it. And once again, it's a bad finish. I actually think this needs to go to the next undersize, but I'm going to polish the rest of them and then invite them round to come and have a quick look. So my customer has been and collected the Nissan SR20 DET engine, and we're going to crack on with something else. So we'll catch you on the next video, guys. Thanks for watching. Ta-ra.